Silent of ball! Lakewood are doing it! They're gonna take! He's gonna bring down Birdie! Alone with a double kill! Dropping fast! Monopoint's there! He's still alive! Wait, check his line! He's going one side! He's going a second! He's taking it back! Oh my God! On three! They're all dead!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's day number 2 of the Summit to China, and we're excited to bring you 4 more best-of-1 matches over here in the China division. Should be some exciting stuff. Bringing you the action, it's Cottle Guy here, and by my side once again for 3 nights back-to-back now, it's going to be none other than Mr. Blaze. Blaze, my friend, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hearing you loud and clear and looking forward to these games, man. China especially has been just a real pleasure to watch as far as what they brought to the table. They've been upping their A game. And honestly, like when you look at it internationally, I think China is the best suited region for this patch. Like as far as showing progress in terms of minimizing mistakes, increasing efficiency, and just across the board playing to the highest caliber, I really think that China is where it's at right now. And I think that it's going to be very telling when we see who's going to be emerging victorious here in the Summit China. And I think that whoever does is going to be placing extremely well in the main event. So, yeah, I think that that's going to be a really, obviously we have a long road ahead of us, but a really impactful aspect of this tournament is going to be decided here in China.
And should be an exciting first match here as we're going to have LGD making their debut for the Summit 2, a team that I've been really excited to get the opportunity to cast. That's newly formed as they throw in again Sylar and MMY, formerly, of course, from VG Gaming, and MMY from DK. So this should be a very powerhouse kind of a group. And for Hyper Glory Team, they are coming off a defeat that we saw yesterday when it was ZSMJ trying to take it to Team DK with his Spectre, but ultimately there's just too much powerhouse late game on DK's side. So they want to be able to bounce back with a victory. Also, of course, I want to make a side note. I mean, for those of you already in the stream, it doesn't matter much to you, but if you're trying to watch inside Dota TV, there will be no in-game audio. There was a bit of a bug for us trying to connect into the game. Unfortunately, we will be casting from the ticket, so there will be the delay, as we'll be right there. But hopefully we'll get it resolved for the next upcoming 3 more matches. So we do appreciate your patience on that one. Now, this draft is well underway, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Well, LGD, they grab up that prize Death Prophet and also the Bat Rider, 2 top picks right there, securing their mid lane and off lane, I would imagine, and then to round out their supports, they get a hold of the Earthshaker and the Visage, so we could see a Drow core here if they want to go with the, you know, impactful duo. And on the side of Hyper Glory Team, they got the Skywrath Mage, Legion Commander, and then look at this, it's Wisp Tony. I like it. First time I get to see it in the China realm, and I want to see what Hyper Glory Team look to bring with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go for the Drow ban here. I mean, Lifestealer Bat Bombs are frustrating to deal with under some circumstances, and the combo of Duel plus Mystic Flare might not work as well if the Lifestealer gets the Rage off in time. But generally speaking, I would much prefer to face the Lifestealer here rather than the Drow, and it's just kind of that decision that they have to go with. Will LGD go for that full push emphasis, a large amount of right-click damage from many sources through the Drow Ranger's Precision Aura, or are they going to go something else? One thing to note is that IO Tiny, if the Drow doesn't pick up a Blink Dagger, she is really easy to pulverize there with the Relocate ganks. So we'll see the timing on that. Maybe they get the opportunity to bring her down, but they're not going to even go that route. They're going to go the Dusa here, and it's a hero that we're seeing a lot more in the West, and glad to finally see some respect to this hero in the East. Oh my gosh, this hero is so damn good in this patch.
Yeah, people are starting to recognize it. I'm seeing it more and more as the days go on, and this was a hero that was just, I mean, she's already a myth being Medusa, but it was just a myth to be seen in the client itself. But I'm excited to make its return, and Sylar is going to be the one to pick it up. So, you know, she kind of fits right up there, and more of your true late-game cores, and there's only a few kind of niche styles that can counter her back, removing that mana. Some teams we've seen build up, you know, the Nyx Assassin, going with maybe someone who can grab a Necro book. Heck, even earlier today I saw, what was it? It wasn't Goblak's team, but the opposing team even tried to do the OD with the Agnum Scepter. I think you were casting that game. It didn't seem to work out too much for him, but, you know, it looks like anyone will find any sort of reason to try to take it to this Medusa, and not many have an answer. But we'll see if Hyper Glory Team do have that answer as they look to try to pick up that win. With that said, we hop into the game right here. It's the Summit 2 by G2A.com. We're going to have an immediate pause right here, but we'll see. It's going to be Hyperglory team going against LGD. And, well, I guess I could just kind of casually and slowly roll through the introductions here, unless this is going to be a pause and they're talking about maybe remaking, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So, for the side of Hyperglory team on your Radiant side, we got Mr. Icy. He's going to be looking to play your off-lane Legion Commander. We got Kaka. He's going to be playing what looks like your mid-lane Puck. Pretty Ha is going to be playing the Wisp. We got S playing your Skywrath Mage, and none other than the legend, ZSMJ. This guy has been around the Dota block for quite a while, and a very respected even streamer on the other side, and he brings in tons of viewers. This guy's mad respected, but I feel like I always jinx him, because every time I build him up, I don't want to say he underperforms, but he doesn't really match that hype. So we'll see if he can do it here, though, with the Tony, the Tiny, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend, so living up to all the expectations that he's built for himself throughout the years, it's very difficult to do no matter the case. But yeah, even in these later years, he's still performing extremely well and accomplishing a lot. I kind of expect Pretty Ha and ZSMG to take the mid lane, while Kaka will go for like a solo safe with S roaming in and out of the lane, because
yes.
I think that IO Tiny is just so damn good against the Death Prophet. The Exorcism is okay for clearing out a couple of creeps here and there, but in general, Yao will be under a ton of pressure and most likely giving up first blood. Hate to say it, but it's just the matchup. It's just bottom line, you get that toss, you get that avalanche, and it should be a pretty easy kill unless the Earthshaker's there to dissuade them.
And we'll see. For the side of LGD, though, up on the top, it's Xylar coming off of his recruitment from Vici Gaming, now joining teams with the LGD squad. He's going to be playing your Medusa up in that safe lane nearby. We got Faith, who's playing your Earthshaker in the mid. It's going to be Yao playing that Death Prophet. And along the bottom here, we got In July playing what I would imagine being the off-lane Bat Rider. And MMY from DK now joining the side of LGD. I actually was told earlier today that he is currently the oldest active pro player at about 30 years old. I don't know if that's true or not. My age, so props to him on being one of the older guys as he looks to duke it on out here with his Visage here along the bottom. And he's going to see Skywrath Mage, and they're going to try to put up a little bit of an imposement here. He's not leveling up anything, though. Concussive shot. It looks like MMY is going to be able to assert his dominance and grab that bounty reward.
Yep, in the meantime, it looks like the IO is pinned in a little bit. He does have the option to tether out if he needs to, but without a napalm, he just walks on through the ring of fire. He does take a little bit of damage, but yeah, he's just going to use... You can hardly tell, but he's got an Invis rune going on right now. The fact that he's pretty much just a ball of particles makes it very difficult to make the opacity shift to actually visualize invisible balls of light. But yeah, there you go.
And now he's going to hang around the mid like we were expecting and just being side by side with ZSMJ, looking to get that really quick bottle and try to take control of those runes early on and just keep his Tiny well and alive, and then hopefully trying to bait something in. But man, that got off quick. Bottom lane, they get a quick first blood. It's MMY who promptly takes down the Skywrath Mage. Missed that one. Looks like I'm off to a fantastic start here for day number 2, China, but it's going to be LGD who do strike first.
Yeah, just getting the Fisher in, getting the damage they needed to, and yeah, they are able to contribute to a very nice kill. And Visage is a great hero to get first blood with. He's going to get boots up now. He'll also get towards either Medallion or just even a Magic Stick to fuel his mana pool. So that's going to allow him to be much more active in this laning stage. He's not just going to be in one lane, getting one kill, then having to go back to the well, then one kill, going back to the well. He's going to be juicing up. He's going to be able to stay on the lane, causing huge amounts of harassment. And if they get the chain stuns right, they can even get kills on Puck. I mean, the phase shift does make it difficult, but even still, he can't jaunt away from Soul Assumption. It will follow him through. So there are ways to answer what he's already bringing. And yeah, I think this aggro try could work out extremely well for them.
You know, while you were talking, it wasn't like I was ignoring you, but I did take advantage of the DVR feature, and I rolled it back, and I did get to show everyone what the first blood actually was. So that's that nice little perk that we get, though, from being watching from the ticket. So we got to see Skywrath Mage indeed fall right there. So, you know, don't worry, folks. I'll try to get you a hold of the action if we do have the time. So there it was. It was a pretty easy sneak right there on Skywrath Mage. You just couldn't quite get away. It was a little too much slow. So the Grave Shield definitely put it to work. The SMJ is lingering very low, but this is what I'm talking about. It's a very easy way to do that bait and switch where you're going to opt to try to make a move on the Tiny, but Wisp will be right there to jump on in. But meanwhile, bottom lane, L once again, I caught the back end of that one. I can't look at mid, Blaze, because bottom the Skywrath Mage keeps getting caught out, and I'm going to do it again. I don't care. As you see, just looking across the trees, boom! He takes him down. Very nice stuff.
Nice, nice. And then you go live. This is Dota TV is OP for this. Dude.
I know.
Just don't even have any stress on them. We're gonna see Kaka take some hits here. No Soul Stone is gonna fly out while Phase Shift is available, so he's just gonna go ahead and jaunt away. So yeah, essentially the bottom lane is entirely in LGD's control. The mid lane is going to be, of course, favorable for the Tiny for now. The Death Prophet's not doing too bad at 10-2, but as the levels continue to build up, the Tiny's going to have more kill potential against her, and she's going to have to play even more carefully. But on the top lane, it's actually pretty interesting here. The Legion Commander is now topping out CS.
Uh-oh. Sorry, Kaka did do a move, but couldn't quite get far enough. I got this one, though, Blaze. They mentioned to get her with the fissure, and it's an easy takedown right there. He didn't quite go far enough, got a little too nervous that he was going to get bursted apart or maybe stunned with that fissure early on, but they waited it out, and they eventually did take down the puck. Man, LGD off to a very strong start. All happening down here on the bottom. 3 swift kills. Only one of them picked up by Sylar, but regardless, he is going to start having the time of his life in this early lane game.
Yeah. On top, it's actually pretty interesting here because with this magic stick and with the fact that press the attack can dispel sticky napalm, Icy has absolutely nothing to fear against this Batrider, at least not now. When level 6 comes out, you have to fear the Batrider +1 if they TP somebody in to go for the kill, but at least for now, Icy has complete control of the CS, is forced into lie down under his tower, and even this easy camp that has been stacked up multiple times over by the Batrider on the Dire side is something that Icy could maybe steal away from him with the overwhelming odds. So I'm curious how that will pan out, but at least for now, Batrider was forced back, got his bottle, and is actually bottle crowing to the top lane.
Bottom, they're making it go again on Kaka, trying to get away, stunned, the high ground auto attack, that long lingering shot coming out from MMY, and this Visage is quickly on a killing spree, make it 4-0 for LGD. Man, their strong start is looking really good, and this safe lane puck is just not getting much done, as once again, they'll have to take the walk of shame back into the lane.
And it's worth noting that Skywrath Mage is about to hit level 2. Like, he's been so suppressed in this lane, he can't get near Creep's experience. Oh, mid lane.
Yeah, they're making it go. The action does not stop, and it looks like Hyper Glory Team are looking to get themselves on the board. Hot Pursuit, toss up and down. One more ball and auto attack gets it done. It's Pretty Hot who finally gets Hyper Glory Team a kill for the first time this game, and they desperately needed it to try to shift the momentum, and no place better than in their prized mid lane. Unfortunately, ZSMJ is not going to grab the last hit, but regardless, he's happy to take in the extra bit of lane dominance and can now look to farm it up. And this tether, what the hell am I looking at? Are you seeing this crazy-ass graphic right here?
No, I'm not. So it's probably a graphical bug on your end. But,
yeah, it's just the longest tether you've ever seen in your life. It's like a lightsaber, and it's still connected from top lane all the way to mid. So I hope that's not going to linger on too long, because that's going to get annoying after a while.
Yeah, you might need to reconnect to the game, a Dota TV game, if that's the case, because I think that does actually usually stick around, but we'll see. For right now, it's going to be them moving up top, trying to pursue, looking for the duel onto the Batrider, but with the TP response, all they can try to do here is try to get out scot-free. The fissure is there. Pretty Hawk can refresh the tether if he needs to jump across the fissure, but for now he's going to go the long way around towards the Visage.
Uh-oh, runs right into MMY. That fissure block, and Pretty Hot is going to go down, and will be a swift takedown. MMY now dominating on this Visage, and that graphic bug is actually still going to be there, apparently. Well, we'll see. Oh, well, it's gone now. I don't think it'll be returning. That,
okay,
nope, never mind. It's still there. Actually reconnected to him as we respond. Oh, dagnabbit. So maybe if there's an opportune time that I can make a swift reconnect, but as this game's been going, 6 kills at 6 minutes, not very like your typical, you know, Eastern Dota, so I don't want to really miss out on anything, so for now I'll kind of just tough it out, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. But yeah, in this position, we're going to see Icy go on top. The lasso will be set up by the Fissure, but oh, the heal doesn't come out in time. He did have Magic Stick, he did have heal, but that Fissure block, it's just going to make it so that he doesn't have anywhere to run. And obviously the TP reinforcements and the response from HGT isn't nearly as quick as LGD's. Like, LGD have the reaction. They're the ones that are keeping their top lane safe, whereas HGT, they're kind of leaving them high and dry, just trying to find farm on their own terms. Like, they've had such a hard time in this bottom lane. Kaka couldn't even consider TPing. He just has to focus on getting himself back on his feet.
Yeah. And it's very clear LGD are being so proactive all over the map, taking advantage of their early dominance there on the bottom, and now they're looking to add that pressure all over. It doesn't stop, though. Icy in the top gets a hold of MMY, does not quite have the manpower, or I guess woman power, to take down the Visage, and he just promptly walks away after that shameful duel. No one's going to be the victor in that one. And mid lane, and Wisp and Tony still parking it out right here and looking to build up that farm. But he's only got 28 and 11. Not really getting that far ahead as far as head CS. It is going to be Siler on the Medusa, 43 and 17. A wealth of farm for him. 1,200, near 1,300 gold in the bank, and available power treads. Bassi, we'll see what he decides to invest in first as he looks to push on forward. Maybe the Aquila, I would imagine, be the first one. Drums, I'm not too sure if that's, is that a formidable pickup here for your Medusa?
It's okay. It's not the worst pickup, but I definitely don't think that's the deviation he wants to go for. He wants something with an ultimate orb, and that the drums will only delay that. So it's okay, but no matter how much percent-based movement speed increase you're going to get, you're still a terribly slow hero. You're still a hero with very low base MS. So I don't think it's a good option, but yeah, some players will deviate that direction.
And back on top, it's MMY who's going to get that bit of solo XP. Would love to get up to that level 6 and get a hold of a few of those bird friends and be able to be really a pest with them. Those are going to be so helpful, even when you got that Legion commander there trying to duel anyone else out. He could try to slow her roll and really lock her down in her place. So I love the Visage grab in that aspect, because normally other teams would consider something like your Vengeful Spirit or anyone who can kind of, you know, prevent her from getting the tremendous amount of lockdown power. But here we go. We got a smoke that's going to pop up right now. LGD are looking to come in from the north. It's in July. No Blink Dagger yet, but it's going to look to make something happen. Jumps on through. Very long-range Fisher is going to land. They get the lasso. They're going for Tony, and they do take him down. They use the Exorcism as well, committed for that one. They'd love to get a hold of the ball as well. Get back here, you. With that crazy graphical bug, you got to go. And they take down the ball, and now they turn back, and they're going to put their attention towards this Tier 1 tower.
Yeah, Icy also takes some heat up top as he goes toe-to-toe with the Visage, but the press attack keeps him up well enough, and both will survive. So in this position, I just gotta say, Faith Fishers have been absolutely crushing in this early game. Like, they have been setting up almost all their kills on the back of this. This Earthshaker has 7 assists out of their 8 kills. Like, he has been very, very impactful in all of his rotations. We see ZSMJ throwing a little rock at him, saying, okay, get out of here, this is my lane, but without the relocate, I don't feel like he's putting out the presence that he really wanted to with this draft.
This freaking graphical bug, man. The permatether. Just constantly locking about almost the umbilical cord towards ZSMJ as the powerhouse duo are looking to bring it out right now, but they're definitely going to need more. He's getting harassed from these birds in the meanwhile in this mid lane. His attack's going to be so slow that it's going to be damn near hard for him to try to get a hold of that gold. He gets one hit in, actually brings the bird down to half-life, but not going to be able to grab that sweet 100 bounty for it. So ultimately just being a pest right now is MMY, and there's your Faith. Lingering nearby, he's been doing so well on this Earthshaker, setting things up and allowing his teams to knock it on down. So for now, he's looking to make something possibly happen here towards the mid lane. Along the top, Siler has ditched that bottom lane and is going to find the space up here, try to continuation of that farm. And look at that, it is going to be the Perseverance, the early makings of that Lincoln Sphere, one of the old traditional cookie cutter grabs there for your Medusa, adding in the extra stats and of course all that additional intel and mana for her to take advantage of with that mana shield. So she's going to continue to build it on out. Many people have started considering the new item, the Crimson Guard, as maybe one of the solutions to dealing with Medusa's split shot. Not too many of the team is going to be, you know, really a candidate for grabbing it. Maybe Icy on the Legion Commander. You know, do you have any thoughts of maybe a Crimson Guard being a possible pickup here for the side of Hyper Glory team to deal with that split damage?
It's not a bad choice, and it's also really good against the Visage Familiars, but I think that armor is just more important in general, because the Exorcism is just tearing apart the Tiny and the Wisp, for example. They got 0 and 2 armor, respectively, between Wisp and Tiny, and that we saw right there with the last Exorcism that was used, how quickly they dropped to that. I mean, it's just not even a contest. So I think getting up Mechanism and Vlad's, then maybe considering a Crimson Guard after that would be a good kind of item progression for them.
They are on the hunt. They would love to get someone in this mid lane, but they can't quite scout anyone out. Nice game sense as they see the momentum's coming. They're trying to turn back. The coil's going to land. It does catch only on the Earthshaker. They end up getting that Tier 1 tower. Skywrath Mage eats a huge soul assumption. It gets burnt to a crisp, but now Icy gets the nice duel off her first victory right there as she builds in the first set of bonus damage. I'd love to continue to build that on up because Hyper Glory Team are definitely going to need a strong contender to go toe-to-toe with the Medusa later on down the road, because this Medusa is not looking to get in any sort of fights here anytime soon. It's all about building up that farm, getting at least 2 to 3 of those items online and available, and then she's going to look to make something happen.
So it is really worth noting that we were talking about like the Drow, and one weakness is the aspect that she can be relocated on if she doesn't get the Blink Dagger up early enough. But Medusa doesn't really have that threat. As long as she has a decent mana pool here, you're not killing her in 12 seconds time. You have to commit so many resources to bring this hero down. Maybe if they get the Blink Duel and the relocate, we could see it, but obviously we see a lot of backup for her right now. LGD waiting in the wings, looking for the push up top. They've got 2 in the front lines, Batrider with the flank, clearing out the creep wave now. We'll see how HGT responds.
This is great positioning. They are just scavenging out for anyone. They do see, oh, he tries to put up the concussive shot, but not going to detect him right there. And really, there's no strong defense to prevent them from getting these pushes in. The Exorcism Medusa just kind of unloading. Should make for a very easy and swift takedown. They do pull out the glyph, but there's your blinking coming out. It's going to be dual Medusa. This is going to be a rough target. And there the Visage Bird's going to look to go to work. They're trying to find the opportunity to jump on down, but they can't quite get it. Also, the coil going to land, and they do end up taking her down. A nice turnaround there for Hyper Glory Team. They also commit the relocate for it, but LGD, they're persistent. They want to finish what they started, getting a hold of that tier 2, but meanwhile, they do also catch out Icy with a very nice lasso. Pull them back. They want CSMJ as well. Flame Break going to be there, but it's pretty hot with that Wisp, keeping him nice and alive. Ultimately, MMY will fall. They make it a 2-for-1 at the end of it, and they also take down the tier 2 tower. But getting a hold of that Medusa does help there. Meanwhile, it doesn't stop as Earthshaker promptly takes down that Skywrath Mage with what sound like a Echo Slam here. And actually, if I can figure out... Wait a minute. Wait, I am blind as a bat right here. Let me move on over. Hold on, buddy. We got to take advantage of this DVR. I want to see what the heck happened. He shifts on in.
It was just a slam. Yeah, it was just Faith. Pinned him down with a Fissure, and he's just continuing to play extremely well this game. Like, I wish I could draw on the map right now to draw a little bit under the 2-2 tower in the top lane, but essentially the Fissure that he put out on the eastern side, he wasn't even on the lane. He was kind of over at that little, like, pedestal area, and he was able to get the Fissure across, and that created this choke point that when Tiny went in to help out Legion Commander, he was sitting in the Firefly, he got hit by a couple Crypt Swarms. Like, that choke point was absolutely incredible for them to just absolutely dominate that fight. So not only have they taken the tower, but they've taken many lives with them. He himself is 1-1-9, still 10 out of 11 in kill participation.
So, in the meantime, LGD do clear out another objective, taking down that tier 1 tower along the bottom. We got 2 of Hyper Glory Team here waiting in the side, maybe looking to come in from the back. This would be an excellent flank play, but there's Yao pulling out the Exorcism. Fighting into this is going to be tricky, but there's the jump in. Wants to get a hold of a nice defensive Yules, prevents him from getting the quick duel off. Relocate in, Stone Gaze is going to be popped out here, and this could quickly blow up in Hyper Glory's face, and it does. Yao kicks up the killing spree. They take down the Wisp, and they're looking for more as they jump on back and forward, but they can't quite get a hold of, unfortunately, the puck. And now they're going to turn their attention back towards where they started on this tier 2 tower. Taking down 2, it's going to make it a lot easier. Exorcism is about to expire right here, but it should be more than enough for them to finish what they started, and there it is. Nice grab right there. That's 2 towers all day in this bottom lane, and their net worth is going to continue to fall down in their favor, now pushing towards 8K.
Yeah, when you're a Wisp that's petrified and is therefore not only at 4 armor, but is also taking 30% increased bonus physical damage, you're not going to live for long. Like, the bottom line is, whenever Io is trying to help out the Tiny, he always has to be looking away. He's one of the few heroes that I would say still can get a major amount of contribution to his hero and into the team fight without looking at his targets. Like, most obviously, you have to look to cast OS, and they're going to jump. They're going to go right on him.
Shifts forward, and there's that poor man's Faceless Void going to town. They lock her with the duel. She soaks up a lot of the damage from the Mystic Flare, but ultimately with Puck being there as well, they finish it, and they take down the precious core Medusa. Hyper Glory Team happy to take what they can with that one. They commit a lot for it, but ultimately they get what they want. Now, still, the Death Prophet on the field, finding her own farm, getting side by side with those supports in the jungle, continues to build on up and forward, looking to build what looks like a BKB. This will definitely help out going against that. So meanwhile, the jumping grab, it's going to catch out here on Icy, trying to get away, and there's your Crypt Swarm follow-up, and it's in July on the Bat Rider, who does pick up the last hit. So a kill for a kill, slight advantage towards Hyper Glory team, but still LGD not going to make anything control so much on the map. And they're still looking very, very dominant. You have to consider that it's not very often that they're even committing as 5, and when they do, they look very, very strong.
Absolutely. There's very little that can be done. And even now, Medusa's going solo right now, farming on the bottom lane, and there's very little that HGT can do. Like, if they go for another Mystic Flare play, they can usually bring her down with, like, getting ZSMJ pretty hot in the action, but there's so much risk of retaliation. The easy TP rotation, they have some great defensive abilities, like the Fisher that we've seen time and time again, and Faith is moving in towards the Blink Dagger pretty soon. Like, I've been harping on how impactful this hero has been throughout this entire game, only missing out on 1 kill. But the fact that he has done all this without a Blink Dagger, it just makes me shudder to think what he can do with the item of choice.
Yeah, it'll be a big game changer, as if it wasn't already in their favor, it's going to make things that much more scary for Hyper Glory team when they have that big initiation on their side. He's already been putting in the work with the Fisher alone, getting very nice distance timing and catching him, even if it's with just the tip. It definitely matters. So they look to move on through as a crew here, sweeping on through this mid lane while most of Hyper Glory team have committed to the top, but they are going to pull out the smoke and make a return here. You got the Blink Duel ready to go with a Mystic Flare, where they'd love to get a hold of this Death Prophet. They also have the Coil. Hyper Glory team do have a very nice start here, but they have to be cautious about when they find the right time to commit. They're going to only go with 3 if they decide to make a jump in, but they go for it regardless. Quick burst, can they take down Death Prophet? Icy is going to fall in return, so it's 1 for 1 to start on out, but Visage ends up falling down as well. Make it a 2 for 1, as it's Skywrath Mage, actually, who fell. I just got confused with all the crazy wings flapping around right there, but meanwhile, Wisp shows up. Oh, does get away at the last second. Barely with any set of life, but there I'm talking about, without the extra assistance, the relocate just comes a little too late on that one. It still ends up being a 3 for 1 when it's all said and done. Still, big advantage for LGD, not the smartest initiation there from Hyper Glory.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they didn't realize how many people were hiding in the tree lines or exactly what happened there. He did actually win the duel, so that is the second duel that he's won this game, all the other ones ending quite prematurely, but in this case, like, I don't even think the Kamikaze Legion Commander style is going to put them back into it. Like, just sacrificing yourself for a duel is not going to be enough to really hold the ground. They're going to be losing to the Medusa very soon if they don't start holding the towers and actually winning fights entirely, not just one little pickoff.
Ooh, very nice block right there with the Fissure, as Faith's looking to make his retreat out. Uses the blink as well, but they're caught up with MMY here, and he's going to start smacking him on the backhand side with that tree, but there's your Yules. That is going to hold him in his place, and actually, believe it or not, I think the graphic bug is gone. I didn't really notice, but we are going to be going with just a normal tether. So I'm thankful for that going away on its own. But still, Hyper Glory team, what's not going away is the added pressure that LGD are going to continue to build up, especially as the game does progress. But with Tony, you know, I've seen dramatic comebacks in the hands of this duo where they're able to get in behind and do incredible amounts of siege damage, almost in the same sense that you would see out of your Death Prophet in some of those big comeback games. So I don't want to say, obviously, that Hyper Glory team are out of this one yet. There is the potential for them to make it go, but their execution and the way they decide on taking these fights can be a bit questionable, if I have to say.
Yeah, the bottom line is you don't base race Tiny with an Aghanim Scepter. Oh, Lasso coming out onto S, onto the high ground. What are you going to do here, man? Just burn, baby, burn. Just stuck in a position where you can't do anything. And in July, takes them down easy. So, yeah, right now they're going to take down the Tier 1 tower down bottom, has no backdoor protection, so they don't even need to wait for the creeps. But, yeah, Tiny's a hero that, with even half the net worth, can still equate your damage that you're doing to his buildings while he's going and sieging on yours. So there is some real threat for the comeback on the rat play from him. But one thing to keep in mind is, although he's picked up the Aghanim Scepter, which should be enhancing his farm dramatically, they've got his jungle awarded up. He goes to farm stacks, and they're going to be farming him instead.
Look like they were waiting for an opportunity to maybe relocate and make a play, but the rest of their team is not quite congregated to the area to make their own initiation. Team 5 potential is there, but LGD are making it very difficult. Here they are sweeping on in. They're going to go right into a big group here. This is not a smart choice, and oh man, they have to use the relocate to try to save him. There, they get it. Okay, good. Nice save right there from Wisp. Pretty Hot does a nice job, and unfortunately, he might not be so lucky on getting away from this one. Nothing, no creeps nearby. Just a valiant sacrifice.
They want to go?
Oh, yeah, they come on back. And they're going to be able to step away as Legion Commander also does show up and does jump in. There's your burst. Yao's going to fall. Nice grab, but the Echo Slam return. He ends up falling for that big R Slam and, well, make it a 2-0 just yet. Now Sylar showed up, but here we go. They got the prize, ZSMJ. They pull him on back in, and Sylar's going to begin to right-click him down. In July does get the last hit in. Stone Gaze, as they do retreat, is not going to be catching anyone, but they would love to take more advantage of this nice, strong turnaround. And ultimately, they won't get a hold of anyone else. So still, Hyper Glory Team do get the better of it, but unfortunately, they lose their prize Tony. So I still have to say that LGD are pretty confident.
Yeah, HGT did do really well in that fight, though. Even LGD didn't expect them to contest it. They expected it to be a free Wisp and a walk away, but and then they were probably going to look at Roshan. But as it is, HGT made the brilliant move of trying to contest that there. They go in with the smoke, they get the pick, they get the dual victory, which is great for LC, and they are going to be continuing to build up. Now, though, Yao does have this BKB. If he gets that off before the duel, then they're not going to be able to bring him down with Mystic Flare, and I don't think they have the physical DPS to do it just yet. Like, the overcharge is great for attack speed, but ZSMJ is still a one-item tiny. He's not really rocking a Hyperstone or AC, anything to build up towards some real damage. So, for right now, the BKB should be immortality for Yao, at least for that 10-second frame. And they can look to just continue to take these pick and push type scenarios, because essentially whenever the Batrider gets a lasso with Sylar behind him, the HGT can't do anything but let that person die, because if they try to fight into the Stone Gaze, they're just committing suicide.
Lingering nearby and behind is your Skywrath Mage, and Icy on the Legion Commander as they do wait it on out. Faith is lingering near the side shop, but they have to be careful. The rest of LGD are looking to shift on over here, committing everyone to this top area with the exception of their Batrider in July, who's around the mid, but they are going to go for a meetup, and this could potentially be a smoke, it looks like. Actually, I don't see anyone with the smoke, so I guess not, but still. Also touching tabs here, though, with Icy. He did have the Stout Shield, but he actually sold it. I was going to be like, nah, it does look like the Crimson Guard there, Blaze. But now he doesn't have the Stout Shield, so now I look like a fool. So it's not going to be that, because it would imagine that Wisp is going to be continuing to build forward into the mechanism, but we'll see how it goes. He's still hanging out here with his buddy, trying to get a hold of a couple of pesky-ass birds right here and trying to swat them down with a rolled-up newspaper, a.k.a. that tree. But for now, he's just going to roll back and behind and continue to farm it up. Well, it looks like LGD are looking to go on the offense. We'll see if they can catch anyone out.
Yeah, I think that it would be a smarter move just to go for Roche before going for a 2-3 push, but I think they want to go for a pick-off to make sure that that's going to be a convenient play, and they're going to just Firefly things down. They already had some great Observer Wards, those are no longer in place, but they still are putting out the aggression and just making it so that Tiny doesn't have a comfortable place to farm. It does have a double stack once they use this DD and Overcharge to take it down, but that does put them at risk in some situations. Now, as far as the progression here, the Blade Mail is an absolute must against the Medusa here. They want to force Sylar to go BKB, because the two items that you can go for a Legion Commander to force this issue is going to go Heaven's Halberd and Blade Mail. You get those two items, and the Medusa just has no choice, but she has to go for BKB, even though it's not that great otherwise this game.
So with that, it looks like LGD do take it with their own device. They move right in for the Roche pit. They clear out the area, see that no Hyper Glory Team are around, and this makes for an easy takedown on the back of that Exorcism. They quickly hand over that Aegis to the Medusa, and there's your Agnes now complete on MMY and his Visage. Now promptly jumping towards the top. They don't want to allow anything over, but there's your figure going to catch up, but you're catching. Here they kidnap and pull back the puck, who can be elusive, does get the silence off. Soul Assumption flies with that Stone Gaze. Holds them right in place, man. The setup with the lasso to force them to look into the eyes of the Medusa. I like that strat right there, and they make it work, and Puck has nowhere to go, and they take it down.
Yeah, most definitely. That's one of the better ways to actually make the use of the Stone Gaze. The two abilities in the game that force the hero to 100% look one direction are the Berserker's Call and the Duel, but behind that there are abilities like the Echo Stomp from Elder Titan, the Sticky Napalm, and in this case the way they're using Flaming Lasso, that forces the opposition just to always be afflicted or just walking away from the fight. I mean, if you have the fast enough movement speed, then you can always disengage, but you're always losing one hero with that. The Batrider pretty much, the lasso is like a one-hit KO, essentially, because you're guaranteed to get that kill and potentially more.
I liked how back in the past, I want to say like back in maybe TI3-ish period where Medusa was a very niche pick. I remember TC when he was on Liquid had tried rolling for a little bit of time, the Medusa in the mid lane, and would pull out a blink dagger where he'd try to promptly time it out where you'd blink ahead with the stone gaze and catch him in the front, and he would get a very nice couple of lockdown with it, and that was just kind of a fun little corny strat. We don't see much of that anymore, obviously, but really who knows, as Medusa has become, you know, more of a high-impact kind of a hero. It is something that we could see from time to time if they do favor that positioning, but right now they are farming up a very sweet, delicious stack right over here as a team. You know, the buddy-buddy system working here hand in hand, just kind of sharing the wealth, and LGD continue to enhance their net worth. It's now dropping towards the 12K marker right now, feeling very, very strong. That Aegis' clock is slowly beginning to go down, so I imagine LGD are going to be looking to make a fight happen or at least press some action here, as Batrider's already on the hunt. He looks to fight on forward, and he does catch the prize. Tiny pulls him all the way back, but unfortunately the team is not...
stopped it! Oh, if there was more follow-up, that would be absolutely insane. Maybe they can get the Yules, but that was the most incredible flame break. I saw that FaZe tried to do this earlier with the Fissure, but this actually just happened. Flame break, hitting the Wisp, and preventing the relocate. You don't see that every day.
Hold on, I saw the flame break land, but just to appreciate a little bit more, we're going to take a bit of advantage of this DVR before it does go back into a high-octane battle right here. As, come on, baby, show me what I'm working with here. Yeah, oh my god, 10 more seconds, come on! So you're right, you see, gets pulled on back, pulls out the relocate, and just before it goes, it does actually stop him. Very nice stuff, so I see it right there. But meanwhile, here we go, they're looking to break the base as they start moving up the high ground, and ZSMJ is trying to prevent the creeps from moving on in, and there you go. Medusa pops out the Manta, starts letting it unload. There's your Fissure, trying to slow them down just a little bit more. Exorcism starting to go to town on this tower, takes it below the halfway point right now, and LGD, they're persistent. They're also sharing the Lincolns. They throw it up there on the Death Prophet, but Sylar's eating big damage here, but holding that Aegis is happy to sacrifice one life for it, but actually ultimately ends up pulling back as they have to wait for the creep wave to get back in it. And with the Exorcism now expiring, they're going to go ahead and just kind of pull out a retreat, and unfortunately will not quite get the objective done. We'll see if they decide to deny it out here. They're going to actually let it stand, as I would imagine. And, you know, ultimately LGD, if they get into the high ground, no Puck says, maybe, yes. It's got to go? It's got to go. Okay, so they do end up denying it there on the bottom.
Has been denied.
Yeah, but in this position, like, LGD still got what they came for. They lose absolutely nothing there other than a little bit of time on Aegis and Exorcism, and they'll just wait it out. They'll wait about 70 more seconds and rinse and repeat. They've got this Aegis, and since they've already started to use it in their early stages of it, they're going to be able to still make a huge impact. But we're going to see the flank to gank, and this should be a death-defying team fight.
Yep, they move on in. Nice stun. They land on Sylar. Sylar's very low, but once again with the Aegis, happy to make it go and make it work right now. But meanwhile, they catch out the Wisp. They lock him down. They follow it up with a big Soul Assumption and finish it off. And now ZSMJ, that damn glitch graphic is back as he retreats up to the north to try to get away. I assure you he's not tethered up. He's just trying to make a long run, trying to create space, I guess, if you will, but ultimately does get caught out the Fissure right in front of his face. He will end up falling. They take down 2, and now they're looking to come down from the north. Sylar never falls, so still has Aegis in hand. This has got to be expiring relatively soon, because you got to remember in the recent patch, it was nerfed down to 5 minutes instead of the usual 6, and there it goes right there on cue. And well, she will promptly heal up on the back of that one with a sweet regen rune and pushes on in. Meanwhile, Batrider gets a sweet kill, it looks like, along the bottom or the mid-hand side, taking out the Legion Commander. Go ahead, just right here.
3v1
down
play
right
there.
there in the mid lane.
Yep, just a 3v1 play there. Essentially, they just were able to pin her in, and she couldn't get away from the Yules. So, still making her way towards either the BKB or the Heaven's Halberd. In either case, she's going to be under a lot of pressure here to make things happen. She's only won 3 duels. It's not the way you want to run a Legion Commander. I mean, she did great in the laning phase, but ever since, it just hasn't been her game. They don't have any real kills. They have 8 kills in total, so it's no real surprise that only 3 of them have been victories for the Legion Commander. And yeah, they have to hold the high ground now if at any point in time. This is their kind of last stand here.
Yep, and already at Tier 3 falls. Batrider jumps in with the blink, pulls it on back, and man, Wisp would love to get in there and save, but if the Stone Gaze popped, he can't do something like that. So ultimately has to let ZSMJ fall, who does have buyback available if he wants to come back into this one, but he's not looking to spend it just yet. And it looks like they will forfeit the mid set of racks. They drop down in Obs, very aggressive one inside the base. They turn their attention towards the bottom lane where the racks are now already exposed after that Tier 3 was denied. And now they're looking to press on through. Coil does catch in the middle of all of a Mystic Flare. This is Hyper Glory's team's chance to try to make a last stand as they move on in. Wisp really low, Legion Commander already fallen, and they're looking to push them on out and muscle their way through, but ultimately it's not going to work. LGD indestructible as they move on in. Even the Echo Slam to finish it on out, and that's more than enough for the GG call to come out. And Hyper Glory team are not going to get that precious win they were so looking for. And LGD in their debut match for the Summit 2 China look very, very good.
Yeah, extremely good. Their way that they responded across the map when they felt pressured by the Legion Commander's duel was pristine. The fact that they got all those early ganks off and got the kill momentum against a lineup that generally should be getting at least first blood against you. The Tiny Wisp is very well known for that. It's all comes down to the supports. It all comes down to their play on the tri-lane down bottom and how they were able to snowball that. Especially, got to give my MVP and major props to Faith here on the Earthshaker. Really, honestly, like I commend him for teaching because he has really taught me some things as far as how Earthshaker can be played without Blink Dagger. Like you look at Earthshaker as a hero that can do like 2 or 3 things, then okay, just front my blink, then I'll be a real hero. But no, he does all this work. Like half of the game he didn't have the blink, and yet he made the highest impact in the game by far.
Indeed so. So props to LGD. They have another match coming on later tonight as we have 3 more all day. 3 more best of ones here for the Summit 2 brought to you by G2A.com. Our next matchup that's going to be coming underway as I pull out the schedule right here should be a matchup between Newbie going toe-to-toe with Lie Gaming, and that should be coming up in just a moment, folks. If you like what you heard, you can catch us over on our Twitter. I'm at Kyle Guy, and of course Blaze. Catch him over at Blaze Casting. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and throw together a new lobby, and we'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.